Okay, hey everybody. Welcome to episode 3, season 1, enthusiastically. We'll,
Mhm.
we'll hope that there's a season 2 and a season 3. But welcome to episode 3 of Listen to Prison. I'm Tracy Thompson. I'm here with Zane Thompson, my son and co-collaborator on this effort. And we are going to, in this episode, hear from a prisoner named Kevin King. Kevin is in the Texas Department of Corrections in Gatesville, Texas. We're doing something different with this episode. We're going to be reading his letter I haven't read it ahead of time. Zane hasn't looked at it ahead of time. And we're just going to see how it feels and what the response is like to read directly from, this prisoner's work. He snail mailed us his responses. I don't know if his writing is going to be legible. But before I get into that, I want to say a few things to remind you all about this podcast, Listen to Prison. I want to remind you all that one of the things that we're focused on is being an oral history project. And along with that characterization go a set of principles that I want to reiterate. The first is that this is going to be first person testimony in the subject's own words. So we are reading Kevin's words right off the page. We are starting and using a guiding but open ended prompt structure. And you've seen that in the last 2 episodes. You've seen that questionnaire that Zane and I worked on. We started again in February, putting all this together and gathering content. And then third, we're centering voices that are typically excluded from mainstream narrative. Obviously, prisoners, our inmates are those people who are excluded. And finally, a refusal to reduce the subject to a single act or label. And obviously that's what happens to prisoners often, is that they are reduced to just that worst moment or that worst act in their life. And from then on, they're seen as inmates.
Yep.
So this, oh wow, the handwriting is really good. Okay.
I see that.
Yeah, you
Remember?
did
I
say
said I have a
that.
feeling this guy's gonna have good handwriting.
It's actually printing, but it's really nice printing, and you'll see it actually. But
Yeah.
first of all, this is
Yeah, how many
a
pages?
lot of, whoa. It's 15 pages, front and back, and it's printed.
Yeah, that's
I don't know if
yeah,
you can see
I'll put it up
that.
on the screen.
Okay, July 7th, 2026. Hello, my name is Kevin King, and I'm incarcerated in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. I'm currently incarcerated for habitual criminal, felon in possession of a firearm, theft of a firearm, possession possession of meth under a under a gram. Oh, sorry, possession of meth under a gram, and theft. I stole a Jeep that had a gun registered to owner of Jeep in vehicle, and I had 2 lines of meth in a baggie. I got sentenced to 3 30-year sentences and one 15-year sentence. So 105 years
Yeah,
for
dang.
stealing a vehicle I had the keys to. Not to minimize, just fact. 105 years.
Yeah, that's outrageous.
I mean, we're not fact checking, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean,
We're just going, this is what he's telling us.
he had meth too, but yeah, I mean,
Right, but okay, so I grew up in California, splitting my time between dad in Los Angeles and mom in Northern California. My family were criminals and outlaw bikers who either grew marijuana or cooked crank.
crack probably.
No, crank.
The heck's that?
Crank is a speed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
My dad thought money was everything, but really, all he was and still is a drug addict who don't care who he hurts as long as he gets what he wants. I did my best to protect my sister. I was too young and small to keep either of us from sexual, emotional, and physical beatings. I told myself when I got big enough, nobody was ever going to hurt the people I love again. That didn't stop me from trying all I could, from hitting grown men. I'm sorry. That didn't stop me from trying all I could from hitting grown men with 2x4s who were raping my mom or taking a beating so my mom or sister didn't get it. Oh, I see. He's saying that
Yeah.
he took that and so to avoid that happening to his mom and his
Right.
sister. My uncles and mom's husband were Hell's Angels, so I never won a fight until many years later. But I was going to get beatings anyway, so I was at least going to try to do something to protect my mom and sister. My favorite place growing up and still is the ocean. I love surfing and sailing. My first time I got in trouble was when my mom moved with her husband to Arkansas. They have a motorcycle club called Swamp Riders out there. Her husband had some business with. Anyway, I was living with my dad in Los Angeles, and so I hitchhiked to Arkansas at 12 years old.
Dang.
Okay, he hitchhiked to Arkansas at 12 years old. I was 5 foot 6 inches, blonde bowl skater haircut with 6 suitcases, hitchhiking across the country.
It's like Home Alone.
To say the least, I met many sleazebags, but I was used to predators. So they lived 6 miles down a dirt road, and I used to walk or hitchhike into town because I was bored. One day I stole a truck in town and drove it home and parked it in the woods. They found it and arrested me and took me to a boys' home and never called my mom. I was there for about a month until a woman case manager found I was never charged with the crime, and my mom didn't even know where I was, so she took me home. About a month later, I was hitchhiking on that same dirt road and was picked up by a man who smoked some weed with me and offered me some cocaine. He kidnapped me for about 10 days, and I was in and out of consciousness for them 10 days. I remember when I come to, he would shoot me up with something and I would fade back out. I came to on the floorboard in the back of the car, tied up. I could hear two people arguing about where they were going to kill me. I just remember crying and begging, and next thing I know, I'm being thrown out of the car on the dirt road in front of my mom's house. Later on in years, I found out it was retaliation for motorcycle club bullshit. My mom's husband was a chemist cook for the Hells Angels. My mom called my dad and put me on a bus back to Los Angeles. About 3 months later, me and a couple of my friends were in a car in a parking garage inhaling nitrous oxide. Long story short, the car literally exploded with us in it. I was hospitalized for 3 months with 25% of my body third-degree burns. Whew. After I got out of the hospital, things were going to never be the same again. My dad pulled a gun on an undercover cop on the freeway and got locked up. His friends came and packed up the house and put everything in storage, took my sister, and told me I'm on my own. I was 14 years old. I couldn't let my sister stay with these people, so I started selling powder cocaine to all my dad's friends. It's the 80s and coke is big, and me growing up in South Central Los Angeles, I had the hookup. It wasn't long before I had my own place, my sister back, and plenty of adults stealing my money and using me as a 14-year-old child in an adult world. When I turned 18 years old, I was able to get a trust fund from when I was 10 years old. One of my mom's friends, me and my sister and two other children hit a semi tractor trailer head on. Sounds to me like what he's saying is it was a trust fund. They were in an accident with a semi tractor trailer. That money went into a trust
Lawsuit
fund for them.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom's friend was cut in half. A child was decapitated, and I was dead for I don't know how long, pinned underwater by the car. I just remember floating above the car and hearing my mom crying out for me, and she was all bloody. I have always been the little protector, so I slammed back into my body and just remember pushing all kinds of weight out of my way to get out from under the car. So anyway, I withdrawed all that money and decided to make it to Denver, Colorado. My mom had told me a story about how she was born in a cab in a snowstorm, so I thought that would be a clean start out of the hell I had survived somehow. Funny thing is, I literally thought people were going to be riding around on horses and shit. I know. Denver, Colorado. Life was good, new place, fresh start. A few months later, I met the love of my life, Christine. We met at a Village Inn pancake house working graveyard, or what we called bar rush, as when all the bars closed, we got busy. I knew when I first saw her I was going to love her. She was the only woman till this day that I hung out with every day and didn't even get a kiss for a month. Do you know how I finally got a kiss? We used to play tennis 3 to 4 times a week. Tennis, that seems like so unlikely. See, Christine was in a sorority and on the tennis team at FSU in Florida. What? So he's in Colorado. She's on the tennis
Probably
team.
was on the tennis
Tennis team. She was good and always whooping on me. So one day I was like, hey, if I win, I get a kiss. Now, granted, I didn't win too many games up to this point. All of a sudden, I'm playing my life depended on it. I was winning. He's got a little smiley face there. I used to joke that I either turned into John McEnroe or she let me win. I'm pretty sure it's the latter. All my life, all I wanted was to be loved and fall in love. I finally found that in Christine. We were together for about 8 years. She is still the love of my life to this day. However, tragedy tore us apart. Ugh, we had 3 children. 2 were killed. And the last child, Kylie, I never got to be a part of her life, much due to the road I was going down. Much due to the road I was going to go down. I will say this. My daughter Kylie looks just like me. She is 6'4", blonde hair, blue eyes. She plays in WNBA. She got drafted in 2021 in the first round to New York Liberty.
What?
She
What? This whole story is like an acid trip.
I know. She went to college and played for Louisville.
Oh, wow.
I watched her on TV when she played in college, when she was drafted, and when she plays now pro, all from prison. I finally got somebody's wife in here to help me contact her. This was in October 2025, and she gave me her number and said if I can ever stay out of prison for more than 5 days, then I could contact her. But as long as I'm in prison, she don't want nothing to do with me. Another consequence to my life choices. So needless to say, I could care less if I lived anymore for many years due to losing my love of my life and the death of our children. My mom and her biker criminals taught me how to forge checks and make IDs. So my life of stealing to keep up my cocaine and whatever.
Kylie Shook, number 24.
How did you get that?
Just typed in New York Liberty Kylie. She's 6'4".
That's nuts.
College, Louisville, yep.
That's crazy. That's Kevin King's daughter.
Yeah, wild.
My mom and her biker criminals taught me how to forge checks and make IDs. So my life of stealing to keep up my cocaine and whatever, other drugs, alcohol, or women I could do. I traveled all over running from myself, 42 states to be exact. There were times I would have 60 pounds of marijuana and guns, drugs, etc. in my truck. I could drive up the mountain anytime and get as much weed from my family as I could carry, so I would load up and travel. I started getting arrested for DUIs, no insurance, failure to appears, misdemeanors or violations. The longest was 2 months. In 1998, I moved to Hawaii for a while and it was amazing. The problem was I had a $1,000 a day cocaine crack habit. I was arrested for my first felony. I was sentenced to 1 year in county jail, OCCC, which is probably some correctional center in Hawaii.
Yeah.
I got out and moved back to Northern California and started growing weed and collecting money for the family. I was arrested for intimidating a witness and sent to prison for the first time. I was arrested in Willits, California, Mendocino County. So, reception for Northern CDC was San Quentin. I remember it was surreal. The place is notorious. It was like a castle sitting on the edge of the bay. The smell was dank and smelled like sweat of fear. As soon as you get off the bus, you were asked if you're a wood, sereno, note, etc.
Those like tribes or something?
Or gangs.
I don't know.
In prison, oh yeah, okay. In prison in California, in order to survive, you have to ride with the group. The first night was crazy. The cell block was 5 tiers high and 100 cells on each tier. One side faced the bay and one side faced the yard. It was 1,000 man block and so loud. I've never heard such noise. The crazy thing is, every night, like clockwork at 10 p.m., an announcement is made that today's program has come to an end. This announcement is done by an inmate. Then the shot caller from each race calls out, and all the men in that group ring out. Example: the Border Brothers would say some stuff in Spanish, then give out loud shrieks. The white boys, Woods, would whoop like Vikings rowing a boat. It goes from deafening noise all day to being able to hear a man take a piss 5 tiers away. My first night, I couldn't sleep. And about 2 a.m., I heard someone having sex. That was my first time going to prison. I had 4 states with detainers waiting to get me when I was done. Like I said, I was traveling a lot, so wherever I went, there I was getting arrested. I didn't have a record then, so they would release me with a court date, and being as I didn't live there, I would go to the next place. I was extradited back to Colorado and sent to prison there. I got out in 2005 and became a pastor of a Pentecostal church in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I met my wife, whom I was married to for 12 years. I thought religion would be the answer, but I never addressed the root of all my pain and trauma. I never let myself feel anything if I could help it. I went back to prison on a violation until 2009. My guilt and shame of returning to drugs and crime after being a pastor was overwhelming. I married a stripper and showed her Jesus. She quit everything and became a believer. When I went back to prison, she went back to stripping and escort and left me in prison without help until 6 months before I got out. We were never the same, and in 2018, when I went back to prison, she walked away, filed for divorce, and as of today, July 7, 2026, I haven't heard a word from her. I have been in and out of prison since 2003. I was a traumatized boy in a man's body, medicating to stay numb. I never dealt with any of my post trauma, deaths of my children, loss of my own youth, etc., until coming to prison in Texas in 2021. I was again traveling through the state. I only know people whom I met in prison. I made a decision in county jail as I was recovering in a medical cell from being hospitalized from officers. I will do whatever it takes to find healing. I will never again hurt others or myself. I will never commit a crime again. This journey has been the hardest thing I have ever done, and I had to do it without support or help from outside these walls. I've had to look at myself with complete, honest evaluation. I may have been tough to everyone who ever knew me, and according to standards of the world I lived in, I was as tough as they come. But reality is, I was a coward. I was still a scared 14-year-old boy who was afraid someone might see me for who I truly am. I realized I hated myself. I trusted nobody, least of all myself. I was completely angry at a God I didn't really believe in. So the work started to this day. Since I have been in prison, I have started two programs for men who are in segregation that are still going well to this day. The first ever in the state of Texas. I even developed the curriculum. It's called Men of Valor. I have been a facilitator as a brother's keeper, instructing men to think differently, lay down gang ties, and stop using drugs. I use the same tools to help these men as I used to look at myself and begin healing. I also worked with self harm in Walking Tear and helping people who are suicidal or cut on themselves. I have become a certified peer support coach. I'm learning how to live this new life. The pain is my companion that will seem to not go away. So I've learned to use the very things that once hindered me to become now my greatest asset to being my messed up, authentic self. Now, my only fear is never loving or being loved again. You asked about visits. I haven't had any visits. I don't have anyone left in my life.
Mm.
My favorite commissary item is whey protein.
There you go.
I train daily with weights. I'm a barber as my prison job, as well as one of my skills. I wanted to play professional hockey or be an actor growing up. I come up for parole every year since 2025. My next parole hearing is March 2027. I'm going back to Denver, Colorado. I'm going to have a 5-year plan to save and invest my money. I will then purchase another sailboat and circumnavigate the earth by ocean with no certain time frame to do so. In other words, I may never return to the US again. Time is our most precious currency in this life.
It is.
Everything from your livelihood, house, car, and family can, at the blink of a moment, be taken from anyone. Most things you can get again, but you can never get time back. If you have people you love and who love you, cherish that, nurture it, and never take it for granted. Love your life, and if you don't, then figure out what needs to be adjusted so that love is all you have.
Mm.
I would like to say sorry to my daughter Kylie, her mom Christine, and my ex wife Carrie Ann, Sasha, and Savannah for not fighting for the right things and picking fights for all the wrong reasons. I hope life is filled with beauty, love, curiosity, adventure, and adversity. You are all in my heart, and I will forever be grateful for being blessed with the time I had. Please forgive me for being a coward. I hope you will someday forgive me for your sake. I don't deserve it, but you all do. Peace be with you all. Well, I rambled on, and I hope I made sense. Thank you for listening to my life. I would have to write a book to share it all, but I hope it helps someone. Please feel free to ask me any follow up questions. I don't mind if people write me. In fact, I welcome it if it is possible. I'm not alone, but I'm certainly lonely. Kevin W. King, age 52.
Dang.
52. So that you got that answer at the end. He's 52 years old. So he was 12 years old, 14 years old, on his own,
Yep.
hitchhiking and just, oh.
Wow.
So what a story, right? Kevin, we really appreciate you sharing this story in your life with us, and I hope that this story touches other people.
Mm. He gave some good, no words of wisdom, really, but
But yeah, but the words of wisdom are about love, right?
right,
I
yeah.
mean,
Well, but it was interesting because I didn't think he was following the
and then he came to the
yeah, and so that was kind of cool. I mean, the more that's the more in a response, the better. So that was like, yeah, that was great.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the things that we've been like this because it's a, we provide the guidelines for a oral history, a guiding but open-ended
Right.
prompt structure. And he took that, and we've gotten other responses like this too. I mean, we didn't know what to expect today when we opened this, but
Yeah.
it's similar to in terms of, not necessarily going question one, question
Right.
two,
Right.
but
Yeah.
just telling his
I prefer
story.
this over question one, question two, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, it's a crazy story. And you look at this young kid surrounded by guns and drugs and motorcycle gangs, and what is going to happen to him?
Yeah, on top of all the abuse he suffered
Oh,
and
and his
yeah,
sister's suffering
right.
sexual.
Everything he saw when he was little, that's brutal. Yeah, it's gonna scar you. And what's funny, I don't know if we'll keep this in, but you know, Matt McCusker, what I've been listening to,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
having talks about psychology, the acceptance and commitment therapy, like he talks about like this guy had trauma when he was younger, like super bad trauma,
right.
and just kind of stuffed it away, like over and over instead of committing to accepting it and
And dealing with
dealing
it.
with it. Right.
And now at 52, he's just coming to the point where he's sort of dealing with it, right?
Yeah, in a way, more so kind of owning it. He said he's unlovable and can't remember what he said,
Yeah.
and he's sort of owning it. So I mean, whether or not that's the right thing to do,
It
who's
says
to
he
say?
says, "My only fear is never loving or being loved again." Yeah, it's love your life, and if you don't, then figure out what needs to be adjusted so that love is all you have.
That's a good message there.
That is
That's words of wisdom there,
that's
sort
that's
of.
a words of wisdom worthy quote.
Yeah. We can throw it up. We got to throw it up.
Love your life, and if you don't, then figure out what needs to be adjusted so that love is all you have.
Yeah, you can. Where's the pad? Where's the? Yeah, you can write that down.
So it goes up on the wall.
Yep.
So, hope you enjoyed this episode 3. And we thank so much Kevin King for trusting us to tell his story. Peace. So thanks for joining us on this episode of Listen to Prison. We hope you'll like, comment, share, and subscribe. And really, in the comments, please let us know what you're thinking and what you'd like to hear. We're happy to change the questionnaire and add things that you might be interested in hearing from the people that we're talking to. So we hope to see you next Saturday. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. Peace.